after the weigh-in, which
it's
is
a little,
kind of bitch ass.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Like, what do you care what he weighs, Jay?
Yeah, like you made.
Who do you got in that fight?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a giant Gervonta fan.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. Would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at
Just
him.
forget that Jake Paul is a YouTube guy and watch him box.
Yeah.
Kid can fight. And that Tommy Fury fight really showed that. Goes to a split decision against a legit undefeated boxer.
The one thing.
Joe Rogan explodes on Jake Paul for playing safe and avoiding real fights. Rogan's frustration feels justified. He's had enough of the staged drama and shallow narratives. To him, boxing's sacred ground isn't a playground for YouTubers chasing clout. It's a proving ring reserved for warriors who earn respect the hard way.
Decided to bet on himself for that fight. Knew that he was going to lose, like they had it set up, and then retired and went to Italy. That's a ridiculous rumor, right?
Timothy Bradley's laughter says more than words. Even a warrior like him sees Jake Paul's path as a payday, not a proving ground. For real fighters, legacy comes before luxury. Bradley's refusal for even 100 million speaks volumes about the line between spectacle and sport.
Action sport, I'm sure he wants to go out and face, guys like Garcia, you know what I mean? I'm sure he would want to get in the ring with Jake Paul, you know what I'm saying? Because that's money. So, I mean, look, man, he trying to get the bag and get on out with his wits and be happy.
Timothy Bradley versus Jake Paul, would you take it?
No, I wouldn't.
Not for 50 million?
Jake Paul.
Crawford's reaction cuts through the noise. He doesn't see competition, he sees a mismatch. A 35-pounder stepping up to a 200-pound showman isn't a clash of warriors, it's a headline stunt. His tone carries the weight of experience, exposing how size and hype often bury skill and honor.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Rogan's voice shifts from criticism to pure admiration. He breaks down Tank Davis like an artist describing a masterpiece. Measured aggression, clinical precision, and power that shuts lights out in an instant. This isn't hype, it's respect from one fight student to another, acknowledging controlled chaos at its finest.
Tank is one of the most interesting fighters to watch because he's so different. His style is so different. He's so economical. Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then he starts to figure holes out, and the way he can explode and move in with one shot, my God.
Yeah, he very explosive. He's very explosive, and man, he be cracking them dudes. Hey, he be putting them to sleep.
Just cracking people.
Yeah.
And he has so much confidence in his power. So much confidence in his power.
From the other side of those punches, Lamont Roach brings reality into focus. Fighters don't just praise power, they feel it. His words strip away the mystique, reminding fans that every punch carries pain, pride, and perspective. Even the toughest admit when someone hits with concrete in their gloves.
I think the hardest punch I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Oquendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lie to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie. He a hard hand motherfucker.
As opinions start to clash, Shakur Stevenson's sharp response reignites the argument over who truly owns boxing's throne. Shakur Stevenson doesn't mince words. His pride bleeds through every syllable. He sees Tank versus Jake not as entertainment, but as an insult to boxing's hierarchy. To Stevenson, legacy isn't built through spectacle, it's earned by facing the best. His frustration reflects a fighter's code, where chasing fame is betrayal and choosing money over merit disrespects the grind. For him, Tank's flirtation with Jake Paul feels like a sidestep away from greatness and a stumble from respect.
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter.
Bisping calls it exactly how fight fans see it, blunt and unforgiving. A near 100-pound difference isn't courage, it's control through size. His words cut through the glitz, reminding everyone that the ring is meant for equals, not exhibitions. When a UFC legend calls you a bully, it's not casual banter, it's a statement about ethics in combat. The spectacle might sell pay-per-views, but deep down, real fighters can't respect uneven wars disguised as bravery.
Jake Paul, I think when he weighed in for Mike Tyson, was 227 pounds. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92 pound weight difference. Almost a 100 pound weight difference. It's insane. That is called one thing. That's called being a bully.
Devin Haney keeps it surgical. No drama, no noise, just pure logic. He sees the matchup for what it is, a show, not a contest. Haney's breakdown exposes Jake Paul's ceiling, their skill, but not the pedigree to outthink or outbox someone like Tank. His tone carries quiet confidence, the kind that comes from studying the sport's blueprint. For him, this fight isn't unpredictable, it's inevitable, and the result, he believes, already written before the first bell.
So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Spencer Oliver's insight confirms what fans feared. The Joshua fight collapsing means all attention shifts to Tank and Jake. His calm analysis cuts through speculation. This isn't rumor mill chatter anymore. It's shaping into a reality. What was once dismissed as clickbait has now evolved into boxing's next viral headline. Oliver's tone carries the weight of someone who understands the sports ecosystem, where money, rights, and broadcast deals can kill legacies or create legends overnight. And with Joshua out of the picture, the stage feels set for Tank Davis to become the last real boxer standing against the influencer invasion.
Well, Ring Magazine have actually released it, so that's pretty strong evidence that this fight is going to happen. So I think the negotiations with Anthony Joshua have broken down, and I think that was down to broadcasting rights, who would get that with Anthony Joshua being on DAZN. Obviously, Jake Paul is on Netflix, and that's probably where the problem was. So I think that fight is sort of like dead and buried in the water, and we get Gervonta Davis.
Daniel Cormier speaks like a frustrated purist watching the sports standards dissolve. His words echo every real fan's sentiment. Stop cherry picking, stop chasing headlines, fight someone your size. Cormier respects Tank Davis's credentials, but his frustration isn't toward Tank, it's aimed squarely at Jake Paul's pattern. A 35-pound opponent against a near cruiserweight fighter. It's not bravery, it's brand manipulation. Cormier's tone captures the exhaustion of the combat community, where skill, not size, should define worth. His analysis feels less like criticism and more like a desperate plea to protect the essence of what boxing once was, raw, balanced, and pure.
You were yelling so much about him fighting someone, fight somebody your size. His next opponent is, by far, the most credentialed guy ever fought actively in his prime. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. He fights at 135 pounds.
Cormier's disbelief is the same shockwave that hit every corner of the boxing world. His breakdown is brutally honest, acknowledging Jake's growth, yet exposing the imbalance. A 70-pound difference in a sport measured in ounces isn't competition, it's contradiction. And yet Cormier's confession, "I will watch this," sums up the twisted beauty of modern boxing. The purists hate it, the promoters love it, and the audience, they can't look away. He frames it perfectly. Jake Paul isn't just testing Tank Davis, he's gambling with his entire image. One punch could either crown him legitimate or erase everything he's built. That's the dangerous magic of this bizarre matchup.
I swear to God, I was on a plane coming home from Las Vegas. When Luis told me Gervonta Davis is fighting Jake Paul, I said, get the bleep out of here. I said, you're a bleep liar. Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. There's one problem. He fights at 135 pounds. Gervonta Davis is that much better than Jake Paul at boxing. But Gervonta Davis in his last fight weighed 133.8 pounds. And I'm not over here in the business of just crapping on Jake Paul. I am much more respectful of what he's starting to build as a professional boxer. You're fighting a guy that's better than you. He's just much smaller. But that guy, because he's better than you, what if he wins? Everything Jake Paul has done is wiped completely out. Gervonta Davis loses to Jake Paul. Obviously, it's going to hurt who Gervonta Davis is. But he lost to a guy that's going to be upwards of 70 pounds bigger than him when he steps into the boxing ring. But I will tell you this right now, without a shadow of a doubt. I will watch this. Tank Davis is 30-0-1. You want to talk about Jake Paul fighting a real boxer? That's a real boxer. You can't make this stuff up, man.
Rolly Romero brings balance to the chaos, a fighter's empathy wrapped in realism. While critics argue ethics, he reminds everyone that every boxer is chasing survival, not approval. His tone strips away the noise of pride and legacy. For him, the decision to fight Jake Paul isn't cowardice, it's calculation. Romero speaks for the new generation, where fighters control their own destinies, whether the purists like it or not. It's a refreshing contrast. While others debate history, Raleigh focuses on humanity. In a sport built on blood and pressure, sometimes doing what's best for yourself isn't selfish, it's survival.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong?
Facts.
Crawford's honesty hits harder than any jab. It's not about rivalry or sport. It's personal. He doesn't hide behind diplomacy or media polish. He calls Jake Paul what many pros secretly think he is: arrogant, insulated, and untouchable behind fame's armor. Yet there's a backhanded respect buried in the critique. Crawford acknowledges Jake's fighting ability, but questions the man beneath the gloves. This is the voice of a fighter who's earned everything through pain and patience, looking at someone who fast-tracked fame through controversy. It's raw, unfiltered, and human. Crawford doesn't just dislike Jake. He represents the purest resentment toward a generation redefining boxing without bleeding for it.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's like,
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like nothing about him. I just feel like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like.
Lamont Roach Sr. speaks like a man who's seen the highs and lows of boxing politics. His calm tone masks frustration. This sport rarely gives fighters what they deserve, only what sells. The fans want rematches, redemption, and legacy fights, but the system rewards spectacle and quick profits. Roach Sr.'s words remind us of the invisible grind, the side of boxing that never makes headlines. While Jake Paul dominates social feeds, real fighters are left waiting for opportunities that never come. His perspective adds gravity to the conversation. It's not bitterness, it's truth spoken from a cornerstool of experience. For Roach Sr., moving forward isn't surrender, it's survival in a sport that often forgets its own warriors.
You know, like, that's the fight we want, and I think that's the fight the fans want, you know, such after a great fight like that. Everybody's looking forward to the second bout, but unfortunately, things ain't lining up as planned, so we just can't sit around and wait. We gotta move forward and continue out.
Teofimo Lopez treats the chaos with a shrug and a smile, a fighter who understands both sides. He doesn't overanalyze or moralize. He calls it what it is: entertainment. For him, this fight isn't a threat to the sport, but a reflection of what boxing has become: a spectacle powered by social currency. Lopez acknowledges the disconnect between legacy and likes, yet he doesn't judge it. His words echo the modern fighter's dual reality, balancing business and passion in a sport that's constantly shifting its soul. There's wisdom behind his casual tone. He knows the purists will rage, the casuals will cheer, and in the end, the bell will ring regardless. Boxing evolves, with or without approval.
Jake Paul, Tank. What do you think of that fight? Are you happy for Tank?
No, great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun, it makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about, you know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless. It doesn't.
At this point, the lines between sport and spectacle have completely blurred. Jake Paul's rise isn't just another influencer story, it's a challenge to boxing's soul. Tank Davis represents everything old-school fans still believe in: grit, legacy, and skill honed through years of blood and sacrifice. But Jake, he's the modern disruptor, rewriting the rules one viral moment at a time. If he wins, the sport changes forever. If he loses, the experiment collapses under its own hype. Every punch thrown in this fight carries more than power. It carries pride, history, and identity. This isn't just Tank versus Jake. It's boxing versus the algorithm. Who do you stand with? The legacy of real fighters or the revolution Jake Paul built? Drop your take in the comments. This debate has only just begun.